Welcome, 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 welcome to the virtual book club live chat. I'm Reverend R. Ken. This is Unity of Chicago South, and we're happy that you're here. The live chat is live. I guess that's why it's a live chat, right? It's live, and it's live for the entire period. Today, the material that we are reviewing, that I'm facilitating, is Mental Dynamo. And it's very interesting. I don't know if you've had a chance to read it. Some of you probably have, and some of you have not. But we will go over a bit of it today before we get into our actual PowerPoint presentation. Just to kind of give you a review and a little background of exactly what it is the author is doing. All the work that we're doing is all about building consciousness. It's not about changing philosophies, not changing ideas, but building consciousness. And what that means is that however you can take the information and integrate it with your practice or to create a new practice, that's what the purpose is, to support what you're doing, make it more relevant, or give you a practice to change your life, whichever is best for you. Well, it's been a long, wonderful run. We've had so many challenges along the way to get our presentation to the point that it is now, where it's relatively smooth. We still have some kinks and some crannies and nooks to kind of smooth over, but all in all, it's moved a long way into a more smoother and hopefully more pleasant for you as a viewer presentation. But the time has come to make some additional changes, and we are working on a new format. We expect it to be ready to roll out by mid-September, possibly even earlier than that, but we're shooting for mid-September right now. A totally new concept for us, more involvement, more opportunity for involvement for you, the viewer, the participant, and more live action and interaction available for those that are interested in doing such a thing. And you say, well, why are you doing that? Well, it's just time, it's time. There are a lot of changes that have gone on in the background, behind the scenes, and it's time that we update what we're doing in a way that's more relevant, not just to you that are viewing now, but for future viewers too, and for us too. So I do want to thank you so much for your support as it has been up until this point. And we hope that you continue to participate, to follow, and to use our work to help you make the changes in your life that will benefit you. And that's, again, what it's all about. Because if it doesn't work to help you, if it doesn't work to benefit you, then what's the point? What's the point at all? Now, according to what has occurred so far today, it looks like there's an issue with having myself and the slides on the screen at the same time. So what we're going to do is we're going to throw up a couple of the slides, then come back with me, and then finish up with the PowerPoint presentation, the PowerPoint presentation. The output depends upon your input. So that kind of just outlines the whole purpose of today, to understand that your thoughts are the input to the output in your life. And I know a lot are saying, well, I don't think the things that have occurred in my life, and I understand that. I know there are things that have happened and occurred in my life that I don't understand how I possibly could have thought of those things. But if you put that aside, as Dr. Katie says, if you just put it aside for a moment, whatever your beliefs are for a moment, and just kind of embrace this new information that's coming to you, maybe you'll find yourself moving off your square just a bit. And I can testify to that process being a process that happens. But I want to get back to the author, today's writer, before we get into the rest of our PowerPoint. And he starts off with that. He sends out an invite to participate in this great principle of nature, a grand natural force that manifests its activities in the phenomenon of dynamic mentation. Said mentation. What's mentation? Well, all words have been made up. Remember that there were no words when human beings first landed on the planet, however we evolved, whatever. Words were all made. So his mentation is a word that you may not have heard before, but doesn't matter. Embrace it. And he says, that's a great something, the energies of which I have called mind power. He goes on to explain that there exists a nature, a natural, dynamic mental principle, a mind power. Just say that one more time. Mind power, because it's your mind that he's talking about. But he's saying that it's all everywhere present. Everywhere present. It's immanent in all things, manifesting in an infinite variety of forms, degrees, and phases. So let's just hold on to that for a second. He's letting us know now, we talk about the omnipresence of God. He's saying there's an omnipresence of this mind power, of this omniscient, this intelligence. That's what he's saying. And he said, I'm going to give you another look at it, a different way to look at it, a different view to look at it. And he says that I hold that this energy or this force or dynamic principle, and this is so important, is no respecter of persons. We don't get that in our religions, do we? we get in our religions that we're very special in our particular sect and our particular philosophy and religion, that God, or that this what he's calling this infinite intelligence that permeates everywhere, that it only serves us in a particular way because we are certain people, and if we honor it in certain things, that it'll serve us. And he said, it's no respect of person. Then we go into scripture. Scripture says it rains on the just and the unjust. That's what it's saying. The good comes to the unjust and the just, and the bad comes to the just and the unjust. That's what scripture is saying. Its service, he says, like that of the sun or the rain, and all natural forces. This is that mind power that's permeating the universe, is open to all, good and bad, high and low, rich and poor. It responds to the proper efforts, no matter by whom exerted or for what purpose called into effect. So that's a little rough, right? No matter who it is, good, bad, or indifferent, that person, how they get all that good stuff in their life? Somehow they called it for, somehow they connected with, somehow. Because he goes on to say, it has to be called, no matter how it's called. It has to be called. The proper effort must be exerted, consciously or unconsciously. Now we get into, why is all this crazy stuff happening in my life, right? What am I thinking unconsciously? What are my unconscious thoughts? He said if that was not the case, then there would be no operation of the force. So it has to be called into action, right? And it can be called into action. It can be called into action. It can be called into action consciously or unconsciously. And it doesn't care whether you're good or bad, rich or poor. Think about it. He then tells us that the activities of this dynamic mental principle, the dynamics, are intimately correlated to manifestations of the mental operation known to us as desire, will, and imagination. Okay, what's going on with that? So he says that to call it into action, will, desire, imagination, these are ways that we call this power, this creative power, into action. Not just our thinking. Now we're talking about connecting with the thoughts of the thing that we want. The thoughts of the thing that we want. So often we say, well, I want another person. But it's not the thoughts of the person that we want. It's the thoughts of the thing that we want. And what's the thing that we want? Love might be the thing that we want. Companionship might be the thing that we want. Friendship might be the thing that we want, you see. But we sometimes associate those things with a particular person. And he's taking us to a different level and saying, no, there is this mental energy in everything. The idea of friendship has a mental power, a mind power in it. And it is connecting with that mind power through my thinking that I open the door for the friendship to express in my life. And he's saying that with this lesson that we have today, we shall learn something of the laws and the principles and the modes of operation of its energies and activities. As we process this information, we will learn this so it's going to be processed by each one of us in a different way, but it will be a learning experience if we really want it. Boy. Understand, he says, it's not the physical energy of science, but is something of nature, of a living will, which is rather the cause of physical energy than identical with it. Okay, so let's stop there again. Our desires, our will, our wish, our imagination, set it in motion. But remember, we're dealing with what you might call abstract, friendship, abstract, love, abstract. If I don't have it, if it's not connected to a person or a purpose, or then it's just abstract. It's just out here. But when it's connected to something, then I can see it, and then it makes it really work. And he said, no, that the love, that the desire, that the friendship, that the companionship, they all have energies within them as they stand without any attachment to anything, because energy's in everything. And this energy he's speaking of is this mind power. And it's the idea of connecting with it. Connecting with it. I hope you're getting this, because it's telling me a lot. And I've gone through the lesson a couple of times, but each time I go through it, I get a little bit more. He lets us know that our desire, our wish is what sets it in motion, what sets the friendship, the mind power and friendship for us in motion. In motion. And that's what acts upon the material substance of the body. Hold it. Wait a minute. I'm looking for friendship. I'm looking for companionship. That's what I want. And as I connect with the mental energies within that concept connects with a body and my body, both. And there is a marriage, so to speak, and all of a sudden this friendship, this companionship comes seemingly out of nowhere. Because it is that connection, once the energies are moved, vibrated, that causes the action, causes an action. See, mind power, as he's telling us, is an actual living force. It is the force that makes plants grow. We have nothing to do with that. We water them. But if we didn't water them, we didn't plant a forest. It was already there. It's already growing. And it's that energy, he's saying, that makes those trees grow. It's the same energy that makes animal bodies grow, that makes us grow. And which enables all living things to move and act. One energy he's speaking of, that's in everything. Why is that important? Because if I really get this concept, then I understand that whatever my desire is, whatever my will is, whatever I'm imagining, there's a matching mind force out there somewhere. And he says it is the force which enables the growing of mushrooms to rise up slabs of paving stones or concrete, or to cause the roots of a tree to split open a great boulder. Wow. So, hopefully that kind of gives us the foundation of the journey that we're going to take today. That what can we take from that? He's saying there's one mind power that is immanent in all things, everything, everywhere, omnipresent. It is omniscient. So you're saying intelligence is everywhere. That's how it breaks down. Intelligence is everywhere. Intelligence is everywhere. Intelligence is everywhere. Intelligence is everywhere. Every place, all places, and everything throughout the universe. So that's a concept that we want to maybe embrace a little bit. So we have this intelligence, we often refer to it as omniscient, is everywhere present. All knowing is everywhere present. All knowing is everywhere present. It's even in me, if I find a way to connect to the all knowingness that's in me, right? So it's also every place else. So since it's every place else, the idea is that I want to connect with the all-knowingness of the friendship that I desire. I want to connect with the all-knowingness of the companionship that I desire. I want to connect with the all-knowingness of the love that I desire. I want to connect with the all-knowingness of the money I desire. I want to connect with the all-knowingness of the I desire. Because I'm accepting the fact that it already it already has mind power, whatever it is. I'm not dealing with the object anymore. I'm dealing with the concept. The concept is I want to connect with better transportation. I want to connect with companionship. I want to connect with the ability to freely go and come. I want to connect with living at a higher standard. I want to connect with. Now, for some of us, this is like, man, are you kidding me? I was taught, man, get that dream board up there, get those objects up there, get focused. I'm not saying we don't do that, neither is he. We're saying taking it, he's saying, and I'm like embracing it. He's saying we're going to take it to another level by pulling back. Okay, what do you mean? My dream board has this wonderful vehicle on it. My dream board has this pile of money over here. My dream board has this person running and I could barely walk up and down the stairs. That's what my dream board has on it. He's saying that's fine. He's not even dealing with that. He's saying, but before you get to that, understand that that pile of money, what does it represent to you? Well, it represents the freedom to go and come as I please. That's the energy you want to connect with. He says that vehicle, that beautiful vehicle, what does that? Well, that represents transportation. That's what you want to connect with. That person running, what does that represent? Well, that represents health. That health, that's what you want to connect with. Sometimes we get hung up with the objects, right? Which is not a bad thing. Dream boards are good. Definitely. But the fact is, there's something before we get to the object, and he's saying that something is alive. That something is alive. It has energy. It has mind power. And if we can connect to that, then that can move the energies to create the body to manifest the thing that we want. Wow. It's pretty cool, huh? Just rest on that a while we pull up our slides. It becomes your experience. It becomes your experience. I understand we had a little can't hear me piece on there. So let me try it again. It's saying here that what we think about consistently becomes our experience. And what I was saying was that if we go back to the preliminary to get into our slides, the little lesson before, if we go back there, what happens is that we are told that it's consciously or unconsciously. So if we put that in there and we say what you think consciously or unconsciously, persistently becomes your experience, then that changes the dynamic a bit, does it not? Think about that. So there are things that I'm thinking about unconsciously on a regular basis, and I'm wondering why there are things that I don't want in my life happening. So now I need to examine what am I unconsciously thinking regularly, not just once in a while, but regularly, because he's saying that this is the experience, and he laid the groundwork by saying it's unconscious or a conscious situation. Wow, I'm telling you. Thought plus emotion equal power. Conscious thought shifts reality. Okay. So we have this unconscious thinking going around that I've been thinking. I didn't know I was thinking, but I'm going to give that the cause of my life. Okay. I'm going to give that. That's what caused the miseries and garbage that I didn't want in my life. It was some unconscious thinking. I'm accepted. Okay. I accept it. Now that I have accepted it. How do I change it? Do I beat myself up and say, oh, I've been unconscious, I've been thinking unconscious thoughts, and it's been terrible, it's created health problems, it's created relationships, it's creating poverty, it's creating challenges. I could do that. Or I could say, wait a minute. How do I change this? Some people say, well, I'm too old to change. He says, what? Conscious choice shifts reality. So now I can consciously think a different thought. Consciously think a different thought. And there are those that are saying right now, man, I've been thinking good old different thoughts. And it ain't changed nothing. Now let's go back to his premise, saying that we no longer, I saw that car that I wanted. I know what I want in my bank. I know the numbers. I looked at those. I'm talking about me now, not you. I hope you can ride with me. But my focus was on the picture. I was taught that and it made sense. But he's telling me now what comes before the picture. The idea. What is the idea? Prosperity. The idea. Freedom, the idea, transportation. That mind power moves it into manifest. With the dream board and my success, the success I was having with it is I was connecting with the mind power of whatever it was that I had on the board, whatever picture I had, but I really was relating to it was the picture, and especially if it came out looking like the picture. And he said, "Well, I'm not saying no to that. I'm not trying to dissuade you from doing that, but I'm trying to help you understand how it happened. And if you understand how it happened, you can recreate it." It's like math. When you're in high school, right? You get all the answers in the back, all the odd answers or even answers in the back of the book, right? You can go copy the answers. But if you don't understand the process, you don't get the whole thing, right? You might even stumble on, you got the odds, and now you figured out maybe this is how to even, but that doesn't mean you understand the process. He said, hey, why don't we understand the process? Let's understand the process. Wow. It's lovely. It is a lovely. Yeah. How thoughts shape reality. Brain rewires through what? Neuroplasticity. Energy follows attention. Quantum possibilities. Observation influence outcome. I want to talk to you about each one of those. Our brains are pliable. The energy in our brains is movable. It can be changed. It can be reshaped. That's the neuroplasticity of it. So because of that, I had an old thought. I can get a new thought because I can reshape the wiring in my brain. I accept that. Whatever the wiring was that brought me that, I'm not going to worry about that too much more, right? What I'm going to do now is I'm going to begin rewiring it for where I really want to go. I was lost, but now I'm found. I'm found because I know where I want to go, and I've now been given some extra information on how to get there, right? Energy follows attention. My attention is not on what did not happen. My attention is not on the bad. No, my attention is not on what I didn't get. My attention is not on my failures. My attention is on the possibilities going forward. And I'm anchoring my possibility to the idea, the concept that what? There is mind power in that which I want. And my job is to connect my thoughts, my attention helps me connect my thought. My brain can be reshaped, rewired. So that's a good thing, right? Huh? So I'm doing that as I go forward because I can't go back here and change a darn thing. You know, I tell people that's the one thing that the divine, whatever you call it, has not proven that it can do. I used to say it can't do it, but people would get all pissed off and say, God can do anything. I said, okay. Well, it hasn't proven that it can go back and change the past. Now, there are those right now which I'm not supposed to get off into, but I got to do it. You got to do it. You got to do it. There are those that are going back to try to reshape and change history. They can try as they might. They can try to wipe out as much as they might. They can't change it, and eventually will come to the light. Just like history is coming to light now of things we didn't know thousands of years ago. You can't change it, it'll be there. So I'm taking that to say, in our own situation, we can't change history. So the history is made. Let me go forward and create a new story, right? My attention's on the new story. Not on the book that didn't sell, but the book that's going to sell, right? Absolutely. And then, of course, finally, the quantum possibilities. I don't know if you've ever studied quantum anything, quantum thought, quantum anything, but the fact of the matter is, it's happening a certain way, okay? I'm making it as simple as I can make it for myself. It's happening a certain way. But when you look at it, you affect how it's happening. So your attention to it, you're looking at it, affects how your participation affects how it's going to come out. So if I want something, it has this mental energy, this mind power. My attention is on it. I understand my brain is being rewired so I can connect to it. Now I have to understand that where it may not have done this positive aspect in the past, I'm now observing it. And I'm observing it to be a positive outcome. I'm not wishing, I'm just observing, okay, I'm watching how this is going to play out in a positive way. And my observation may help me make the right decisions as I go forward. We have more slides. We got to get this going on. We want to get through this today. Your mental dynamo has 3 core powers. This is so important. Now, we will have a note sheet that you can download at the end of today. You can download it by going to our website, unityocs.org. There's a sheet for last week's lesson. There will be a sheet for today available to you. You go over there, you go to multimedia, and you will see today's lesson available, the sheet available. But these 3 things, imagination, right? Belief and focus. 3 powers. The power of imagination, power number 1, the power of imagination. You know, we've spent so much time on imagination with Neville. We should understand by now that it's so very important. He calls it the vision machine. See it in your mind before you live it. Imagination is rehearsal for reality. So you said companionship is a theory, is the core. And then you said, I don't need to see. I never said you didn't need to see the dream board. What I said is that you don't focus your energies totally on the dream board, that you understand that the companionship has a life itself. This is the idea, the concept of the companionship. Okay? So now that I understand that companionship has mind power in itself, without it being attached to anything else, I can use my imagination to shape the things that I want to come out of my companionship. And if I need the dream board to do that to help me, then I can do that too. But I understand, I'm not hoping, I'm not dreaming, I'm not praying that my dream board is going to come true. What I'm doing now is saying I understand the process. The process is companionship already is an entity unto itself. It has mind power. The pictures that I put up on my dream board to emphasize companionship are to help me stay focused on the power that's in companionship. They are not to make that become what I want it to be. In other words, you say, well, that's double talk. I'm not really understanding that. So I have this wonderful situation where my companion and I are walking through the park and it's beautiful and the trees are there, and I have that up on my dream board. That's to help me bring me back to the point that companionship has a mental power, and I'm connected with the mental power of companionship. And wow, doesn't it look good? Okay. You say, well, what's the difference? Well, the difference is the fact that the picture is to bring me back to the idea that the companionship, the prosperity, the transportation have power in themselves. And sometimes I might get a little weak, so the picture helps me come back to that. Not come back to a dream, but to come back to that. Come back to, yeah, I see it, I imagine it, but I also know that I'm connecting with companionship. I hope that helps. It sounds a little rough, but I hope that helps. It's not really, if you just give it a thought, let it settle. And then, of course, it's a rehearsal. So what are we saying here? I have my dream board. I have the picture of me and my companion walking through the park, me and my dog, whatever it is. And I say, oh, that feels so good. I look at the picture. It's like, that is so good. That is so, oh man, I love it. I love it. I want it. And we're going to play and I'm going to have a ball and the whole bit. Okay. My dog is my companion. That's what I see as a companion. But what if I get a cat? What if a cat comes, and I'm not a cat person, but let's say a cat comes and somebody says, hey, this is a wonderful cat, blah, 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 or keep my cat, and then they disappear, whatever the reason. But all of a sudden it's a cat, and the cat's my companion. So do I look at the dream board and say, well, shoot, I didn't get what I wanted. I got a daggone cat. Or do I actually relax a minute and come back to what did I really want? I wanted companionship, and the cat is now my companionship. Even though it doesn't fulfill the picture on my dream board, the picture was just there to help me come back to the idea that companionship in itself has a mind power, and that's the mind power I want to connect to. And I want that mind power to create that companion for me. But I'm giving it a model to do it. But if it doesn't come out like that model, I'm still good, because it was all about companionship in the first place. I said, wow, that's a little rough, Rev. That's a little rough. That's a little rough. I ain't mad at you, but let's move on to power number 2, belief. Belief. And I because things are a little bit different today, I have to help myself a little bit. Belief fuels persistency. Without belief, the vision fades. Build belief through affirmations and actions. Now, let's go back to the conscious and the unconscious thinking. And let's move into beliefs with that, okay? So it's very important that I'm aware of my conscious and unconscious thoughts. And it's very important that I minimize any unconscious thinking that's going to sabotage that which I want. So my believing that I'm connecting with the companionship concept, and that companionship, this is the idea of how it's going to look, my belief in that coming into fruition helps me minimize my unconscious negativity toward that same idea. Say, what do you mean? Well, sometimes it's kind of hard if I don't see it. At some point, I might wake up in the morning and say, you know what? This hasn't happened. It's been a year. It's been a month. It's been a day. It's been an hour. It hasn't happened. I'm pissed. I don't believe this stuff. But it is my belief that says, hey, even though it hasn't happened yet, even though it hasn't occurred yet, even though it doesn't look the way you think it looks, even though you have to believe that it's good, you have to believe it's okay, you have to believe that it's being fulfilled, you have to believe that. I'm not believing it because that makes it so. My belief helps my persistency. It's my persistency that helps it come forth. Belief. Number 2. So we have imagination, we have belief. Now we have power. Power number 3, which is focus. Which is focus. Wow. So I have the imagination. I see imagination differently now. My imagination is not the fulfillment. My imagination is to create a mold that it could be fulfilled in. But my real desire is the concept of companionship that I want fulfilled in my life. That has in itself has mind power. I'm connecting with that so it will move into action and manifest. Energy, right? Avoid distractions, right? Right? And create habits. If you didn't know what focus does, now you do. It locks you in. It creates a positive energy. It eliminates distraction. Hey, there are people that I've seen people that tell other people, "Oh, you're so focused. You know, calm down. What? You don't have to." It's the focusing for that person. It's the focusing that gets it done. It's the focusing that says, "Hey, this negativity stuff is happening right now, but I'm not going to deal with it. I'm dealing with this focus. I'm dealing with what needs to be done to get it done, not what's not being done to prevent it. I'm focused on what needs to be done to get it done. I don't want my energy scattered. I want my energy concentrated on the outcome being what I want it to be, right? The positive outcome. Yeah. So we now know imagination, belief, focus, right? It's so challenging. When I read this and when I went through this removing the rust from the dynamo, rust, doubt, fear, doubt, negativity, negative self-talk. I never thought of that, you know? I never thought about, well, I've got this dynamo here, this dynamo, this thought process. Something wrong with that concept. It's other people I see doing it. I must not be. Fear. What am I fearing? Sometimes the fear is, here I go again, trying it again. It didn't work. My God, I know I've faced that so many times. I know my mom used to tell me, you didn't stay long enough. You should have stayed with that longer. And I say, I already know the outcome. Now, I might have been right. I might have not been right. But I'm sure that if I really analyzed what was happening, that I would have said, you know, I'm afraid that this is not going to work either, which is fear. I'm not saying that I should have stayed. I'm saying that my attitude about leaving, I took that attitude with me going forward. What if I took the attitude that, you know, I've given this all I had. I got something out of it. I understand better than I did before. I'm really thankful for that. But I think there's more for me. I think there's more that I can do. I think there's more what if I took that attitude going forward? How would my life have changed? I think it would have changed. I really think it would have. And the doubt. Oh my God. Oh my God, you know. Maybe I am over my head in this situation. I mean, you come into the ministry, you come into speaking, you see these people doing this great work, and you say, oh my God, I don't know if I could ever do that. I don't know if I could be like that, which is kind of natural. But you know what's not natural? When we do it, do we then say, wow, look what I achieved. I didn't think I could do it. I'm going to minimize the doubt going forward of things that I see that I haven't been able to accomplish. I'm going to minimize the doubt that I can do it. I can do it well. My mentor and minister, brother, Reverend Nick, we were talking about how people can get up and they could just, they can just roll it off, man. And I mean, we've been doing this stuff for a while. And he said to me, Arkan, did you know? I said, what? He said, did you ever think? I said, what? He said, did you ever think they've given this same talk 1,000,000 times, 100 times, 1,000 times? And I said, no, it never dawned on me. See, my doubt and my fear and my inability and my whatever things that you want to put on it said, wow, look at that. I never thought, hell, it's the same talk. It's the same talk. So if you gave the same talk, it's like a play. If you keep doing the same lines, you just get better and better and better with them, and you become more natural in giving them off. And there's nothing wrong with that. But I'm using that to say that sometimes we don't think it through. You know what I'm saying? We look at the surface and that creates a doubt, and we have some fear behind it. What is it? What is it? Appearing something false, FE, false ego appearing real, something like that. It's not real. The fear shouldn't be real. The doubt doesn't have to be there. But you don't have to be cocky either. So sometimes we look at, well, if I don't have any doubt, then I'm going to be a cocky person. It's something in between. And to find that helps us reach those goals that we wanted to reach. It helps us reach those goals we wanted to reach. And what's the last one, of course, was if we stop right here, if we just stop with this last one right here, we have a few more slides to go. That would do it all. The negative self-talk. Oh my God, right? Because we go back to all of the things that haven't happened in the past, right? And we take those and we bring them forward into the new experience. And we say, I didn't get it done before. I couldn't make it happen before. It was a failure before. It was the wrong idea before. And we bring all of that in and we're telling ourselves that. And that plastic brain is saying, whoa, what do you want? You telling me you want to go forward, but you keep bringing me back. You're telling me what, and all of this is going on, right? And it defeats making connection with the companionship that we want. Because it's the companionship we want. It's not the dog. It doesn't matter if it's a cat, a dog, or a bird. If we understand this. That's defeating concepts and moving forward in life. Negative self-talk. Wow. Okay, let's get going because we got a couple more to go before we at the end. Have to keep the dynamo running. Morning visualization, gratitude journaling, affirmative prayer, or meditation. As I said, we're winding down. We're going a little bit over our 45, but I want to finish this. Affirmative prayer. I just want to take that one thing. Journaling, we know what that's about, positive journaling. We know what this visualization is, seeing that the board helps us. The board helps us see it, but we now know that between the board and us is the concept of companionship. So the board is like, okay, get you back on companionship. But we know the energy itself, it's not in whatever's on that board. It's in the concept of companionship. But affirmative prayer is something that we really want to spend. I really want to spend a few minutes on before we finish up and get to the next one. Affirmative prayer is not begging God for anything. You say, oh, well, there you go with that new thought. No. I'm taking this lesson. You see, if there's mind power in the companionship idea, the concept of companionship is already there. If anything, I want to connect with it. That's my purpose, to connect with it. Since it already exists, and since I want to connect with it, my affirmative prayer to God, to whatever entity or deity, has to be, or should be, or is more effective if it's about connecting to what already is. When I started asking the divine God to make some more of something, I'm really contradicting that God is all there is. So if God is all there is, there's nothing more to make. There's no more peace to make. There's peace already there. How do we get to peace? I need that guidance, because I know peace is there. That's the affirmative part of the prayer. I know peace is there. I know peace exists. I know it does. How does it manifest? What can I do? What is my part in this household, in this relationship, in this job? What can I do? How do I do it? Because I know it exists. Oh, get Bob and make God make his heart right, because Bob's heart ain't right. Get Joe's heart ain't right. God, you know I do everything that I can. Well, I'm not saying it doesn't work. I'm just saying, well, but it already exists. It's hard to say God is all there is, and all there is God, and it's good, and peace is good, and it already exists. But God, I need you to create the peace. If I were God, I would say, what do you think I put you there for? So you could create the peace, dog. Absolutely, huh? Dynamo in action. Remember those three: imagination, belief, focus. Imagination, belief, focus. Imagination, belief, focus. And I would suggest that you go to the website, to the the metamedia tab, and download the sheet here, because it has some of these notes on it. And then we're going to get to the final bit here. Today's affirmation. Now, not everybody can do this. And if you can't do it, it's okay. But if you can do it, let's do it together. I am a mental dynamo. My thoughts generate the life I desire. There's a lot of responsibility in that affirmation. My thoughts generate, not create anymore, but generate. They put in motion the life that I desire. They put in motion the life that I desire. I'm really sure that affirmation is on your download, that you're able to download. So turn up your power. Remember, imagination, belief, focus. Big point here. Sometimes we want the big shift. Our life has been such a struggle in our minds, right? We need a big shift. I need a big one. I don't need no little one. I need a big one. Sometimes small shifts create big changes. But where's the small shift at? It's in consciousness. It's in my thinking. And then it's in an action that comes from my consciousness and my thinking, connecting to a small shift that's very positive, that already has the mental power in it and is willing to connect with me, right? It's willing to connect with me. It's not saying, I don't want to connect with you. I'm prosperity and I don't want to connect with you, Reverend. I'm transportation upgrade and I don't want to connect with you. I'm companionship. I don't want to connect with you. I'm joy. I don't want to connect with you. It's not saying that. The just and the unjust, remember that. It does what it does. It's like the sun. The sun shines on all. Doesn't matter. It's shining on Alaska. I'm gonna leave it there. I try. I do try. Thank you so much for being here. Next Sunday, you want to be here for the Divine Feminine Experience. Everything is winding down. I'll put it like that. And the new is coming. And as I said, the middle of September, we hope that the new format will be there. I know there were a few chats. I was so involved with what was going on. Stephanie, thank you so much. I never thought about it. Hey, that's what this whole thing is, right? We never thought about the simplicity of the stuff that we're trying to do sometimes. It's simple, but it's hard to do. We get that stuff, man, especially when we start getting degrees, right? We get degrees, well, we really, that's what they say about the Democrats. I'm going to say this and I'm going to get out of here because we are over. As I say about the Democrats, and I listen to MSNBC, and sometimes I listen to them. I'm like, why don't you just say yes or no? Why don't you just say it that way? Some of the guests that come on, because they have it in them, to give this, I don't know, I'm not going to say an intelligent answer, but the depths and to get into the crevices and the creeks and all. And sometimes we just want to know something really simple. There's a simple person that's running this country. And he got there because he did simple things. He said simple stuff. And he got there because it's a racist country. I know. But you're bringing that into our religion. I'm not bringing it into what we live. Right? And it was done because of simplicity and racism. So maybe we can get simpler so that we can change the dynamics of what's going on with the leadership and the way it's taking us, the path it's taking us to. I don't know how we get over the racism. That's something that, if I'm a racist, I'm going to have to admit that I'm a racist, and then I'm going to have to accept the fact that I want to change or that I don't. With that said, I want to thank you so much for being here live. We have more live stuff coming. That's part of the new format. We love you so much. I love you totally. Why? Because it's God's love. It's not mine to give. If it was mine to give, I probably would hold on to it, thinking that it was doing me some good, and it would probably be blowing my body up. Because that's what we do. We think we're hoarding the good, but we can't give more than God has given us. We can't do it. We can keep on giving it. It'll be fine. We're at the end of this lesson. I'm going on and on. I don't want to do that. Mental Dynamo. Please go to the website, UnityOCS.org. Go to the Meta Media. You can download notes for the day. They're really short. I appreciate everybody for being here. Until next time, remember, next Sunday, Divine Feminine. Come on and get some of that experience, Divine Feminine experience. Until next time, this is Reverend Arkin saying namaste. Peace.